Enjoying the show? You can help others find it and enjoy it too by giving us a 5-star rating or review. If you feel like reaching out to us with a question or comment, you can send us an email at mywifetherd@gmail.com. And don't forget to visit our website at mywifethedietitian.com, as well as our social media pages. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Enjoy the show.
All right.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. It's Rob and Sandra from My Wife the Dietitian, and this is Nutrition Nuggets.
It sure is. And I'm going to give you a quiz today.
A quiz.
Hydration quiz.
You love putting me on the spot.
Yeah, it's fun.
See if I've been listening.
Yeah, because we did an episode all about drinking more water and hydration.
We did. Yeah. And oddly enough, when I wrote the newsletter the other day, I'm always like scratching my head for like, what am I going to write? What's the tip of the week going to be? And I'll ask Sandra if she's home, but if she's out, then I got to figure it out myself. And right before Sandra went out, she's like, make sure you drink enough water today. It's going to be really hot. I'm like, okay, that'll be our tip of the week.
Yes, it's a good reason to get on the newsletter because there's some great tips through there.
Oh, there's great tips.
Yeah, and it was Nutrition Nuggets 17, so it was back a little bit last summer, I think. How much water should you drink is a good one to refer back to. Rob, since you're doing the quiz, you maybe should listen to that first.
You're assuming I don't know things already.
I'm totally kidding.
Maybe I'm going to ace this quiz.
Yeah, I'm sure you will, actually.
I'm sure I will.
Yeah, because yesterday, you just had a story about yesterday. Our son was active all day. He's working. He works with kids, and it was hot outside. And then he did another activity after work. And then when he came in, he said, "Oh, I have a headache." And what did you say to him?
Right away, I'm like, "Oh, you're dehydrated." Because I know from years of Sandra telling me that's one of the symptoms.
Yeah.
Especially in the summertime.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
It's a pretty good sign. So we're going to cover some of those symptoms, things to look out for, what happens to your body when you're dehydrated, just signs so that we know, because we all know we're supposed to drink enough water, but how do you know? How do you know if you're not drinking enough water? So that's, I think, really important to be aware of those signs. Yeah.
And the actual definition is losing 2% of your body weight in water. So you sweat so much that, say someone's 200 pounds, they actually are going to be 196. So they lose 4 pounds of water.
Mm-hmm. But who's going to calculate that?
No,
that's
exactly.
That's a hard definition to follow.
Yes.
So I think being aware of some of the things that happen to your body and yeah.
That would be like walking for an hour and a half in the heat without taking a sip of water, without getting anything to drink.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you are on a rowing machine, like really rowing hard for an hour and you didn't have a drink of water, then you could become dehydrated, lose about 4 pounds of weight, that is water weight.
I'm just thinking, because we do water sports in our family, and when you're in the water, and this includes just hanging out at the beach and swimming and anything that involves water, because water will cool your body off, so you kind of lose the feeling that you're thirsty because you're refreshed from the water, right? So because we'll go out and spend a couple hours on the water and I can't drink when I'm out there, so I mean, there's a probably pretty good chance that I'm dehydrated when I get in.
Or mildly dehydrated.
Or mildly, yeah. So just keep that in mind too. I mean, just because your body isn't hot doesn't mean you're not dehydrated.
Oh, it actually, and as you age, you lose your thirst receptors for fluid. So they get blunted over time.
Oh, really?
And a lot of times when people go and reach for food, it's actually they're just needing more water and they're getting dehydrated. So that's something that I see too a lot with clients is a lot of the conditions that I see people have is a result of not having enough water. But I'm going to tell all the...
You're giving me all the answers.
I know, so I won't.
It's like an open book quiz.
I know. Yeah, totally. Okay, number 1 is which parts of our body rely on water? From the head to the toe.
I think all of them probably. I mean, in one way or another. I mean, your skin, all your organs need water. I think we said your eyes need water, like in that eye episode. anything that, like, the water lubricates your body, right?
Yeah.
All your systems.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think everything. I can't think of anything that doesn't need water to some degree.
That's right. I know.
Like, water is life, right?
Exactly.
Isn't there some Latin term that means that? Like, I can't think of it right now, but I'm pretty sure there is.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it can dry the skin out. It can sour your mood.
If you don't have it.
Yeah. If you're like getting kind of mildly dehydrated, it can definitely constipate you. That happens a lot. What I see happens. I'm giving you the answers again.
You just can't help yourself. I should be quizzing you.
So what parts of the body? You said the skin.
The skin,
right?
I think all our organs.
That's right. And it helps regulate our body temperature, like the sweating. Cools our skin, cools our body down. Our blood actually.
Yeah. Like our systems, like our cardiovascular system, our blood, our breathing, like all of that stuff.
Yeah. And this will be a question, actually. Let me just ask that. It's probably second question. It's not on my list, but how can you tell? Like, how can you monitor your own hydration?
Oh, I know. You pinch yourself, don't you? You pinch your wrist or something like that?
Sounds so funny.
I know. Oh, pinch me.
I'm dreaming.
Pinch me.
You're right, though.
And do you know why I know that?
Why?
Because I live with you and you come up and you pinch me all the time. And I'm like, ouch, what are you doing? You're like, I'm seeing if you're hydrated. I'm like, really? What? Is that the only way you can do that? I think she just likes to pinch me. But
well, you could also first thing in the morning or through the day.
Well, I'm going to do it right now. What's it supposed to look like? You pinch the back of your hand, right?
No, I was going to. Okay. Yes. Sorry.
And if it stays up, then you're dehydrated?
Yeah. Yeah. If it's not elastic. Like,
right.
Yeah. If it stays up a long time, then that means you're probably mildly dehydrated or on the way to becoming dehydrated.
I guess I'm hydrated because mine just falls right back down.
Great. Well, that's excellent. Yeah. So good for skin. But when I was saying something you can do first thing in the morning or throughout the day after you go into the washroom, it's another way to monitor.
Have a glass of water. Oh, when you go pee, Sandra's playing charades here again. Just giving me the answers. So yeah, this is another one that we talk about this all the time. The color of your pee.
Yes.
And the smell of it too. I mean, unless you've been eating asparagus, but if it smells really strong and it's dark, then you're dehydrated.
That's right. Exactly. That's really important, especially with this heat in the summer. We're in the season of the summer right now. Or when people actually, snowbirds, like maybe people living in Canada or more colder temperatures in the winter, and they move or they go down south to Arizona or Florida or Mexico for the winter months. If they don't adjust their fluid intake because there's all of a sudden more heat for them, there's a higher rate of risk of kidney stones.
Oh, really?
So people can develop kidney stones more readily because of that. Your body is going to try to retain every ounce of fluid it can, especially if it's not getting enough fluid. So it's so important if you have pets at home, like dogs, cats, especially in the heat, you've got to make sure they're getting enough fresh water, and yourself too. Mm-hmm. Anyone you're caring for and yourself, it's just drinking fluid is key.
Something I'll add to that. The dog is constantly panting, and I'm like, oh, he needs to drink water, and all of the water dishes are full, but he doesn't want it. And then I thought, maybe he doesn't like drinking lukewarm water. Like, I don't like drinking lukewarm water when I'm thirsty. And so I went and put nice, fresh, cold water in his bowl, and he just attacked it.
Oh.
So, yeah, you got it. It's not just having the bowl full. Make sure it stays fresh, which means in the heat, you got to change it 3 or 4 times a day.
Right.
Yeah, because I don't know. I mean, yeah, your animals want to have that thirst-quenching cold water as well.
And we want to keep our animals healthy, just like our bodies, because it's awful when your animals get sick. So anyways, it's really important for overall health in so many different ways. So yeah, so you answered how to monitor your own hydration is by pinching your skin, which is correct. Mm-hmm. And also looking at your urine or your pee and seeing if it's clear and non-odorous, then you know that you're probably sufficiently hydrated.
And that's something that happens really quickly. Like if it's dark in the morning, if you have a couple of glasses of water, the next time you go pee, it'll look different. So it's not something that takes like days and days to like change. It's immediate. So it's a nice way to gauge things.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what about that? There's a TikTok challenge, or some influencers are saying the gallon challenge, and to drink a gallon, which is 4 liters, which is 16 cups a day of water, to lose weight. What do you think about that? It's a bit of a tangent, but
I don't like it's to lose weight.
Right.
I like that they're encouraging people to drink water. They should just leave it at that.
It's too much. It's actually too much. It's hard to do 10 cups of water. And really, we don't need to go overboard, because then it's kind of like a diet in that people will try it and they'll just be frustrated, and it'll affect their, they have to pee all the time. They can't, do other things. And then they just say, oh, screw it. I don't need to drink more water at all. I'm fine with my coffee and tea and milk, and I don't need water. But you know what? We do need water. We need about half our body weight in ounces. So if someone's 200 pounds, they need about 100 ounces of water,
which is 8 cups.
Yeah, 8 to 10, depending on your activity level and how much you're in the heat and all that. But a gallon, it's...
I can see in the heat of summer, if you're super active, like, well, I used to work in construction as a student in the summer in the heat, and I was drinking buckets of water because I was, I don't know, working with concrete bricks, or I don't know, some outdoor heavy labor stuff. I was drinking
like buckets.
Drinking buckets of water. So probably then I was drinking, 12
Almost
to 16 cups a day.
Wow.
But I needed it. My body, but if you're trying to lose weight and you're just sitting at home drinking water all day long, the premise of that, my guess, is that you're so full of water that you're not hungry. So you don't actually eat any food. You don't get any like nutrients. You're just floating, like you're just bloated, right? So
interesting.
And the other thing about when I was working, I was eating a ton too, because I'm hungry. My body needed all that food, right? So I was drinking tons because I was hot, and I was also eating. So it's a little different.
Oh yeah, it's so different than someone sitting in an air-conditioned office or in their car and just sitting, not hardly moving all day. And
guzzling.
Yeah. It's a little bit, I think the balance is off when you go that extreme. And again, it's like a diet, and it just gets you on that diet roller coaster again. Like, oh, I'm going to do all this huge challenge and I'm going to lose weight. And actually the evidence is that it actually doesn't help.
Well, and if it's on TikTok, I mean, come on,
Yeah. Okay. So let's go to the next one. What happens when you don't drink enough?
Like what happens to your body, or what are the symptoms? Kind of similar kind of answer, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
Like some of the signs, I guess we'll say. Signs of mild dehydration.
Everything kind of would your skin would wrinkle like a raisin. Like that's why you do that skin test. I think things slow down when they don't have the lubrication they need. Like your systems, your blood probably is affected.
The thickness of the blood.
Yeah. Your organs probably, if they're not getting that water supply, they're going to be impacted by it.
Remember we talked about gallstones and the bile and the quality of the bile, bitter for your bile and gallbladder health. And that's one of the main reasons is like chronically not drinking enough fluid. So yes, that was episode 54.
Okay.
Gallbladder issues, bile and smiles or something.
Oh, yeah, it was a funny title.
Yeah.
I would think your brain health, like you get that brain fog, like, and then obviously, like we said already, you get your headaches from not having enough. So obviously there's something going on upstairs there where if you're not getting enough water.
Yeah. I mean, and it could be the electrolyte balance too, could be off a little bit. Like
True.
If you don't have enough fluid, then that affects your sodium and potassium levels, your electrolytes in your blood. So everything's affected with your amount of hydration. And so that's why we don't want to go like over extreme, because there is something called hypervolemia, or hyponatremia, which is basically your blood level of sodium goes down because you have too much fluid on board.
Oh, okay.
So that's not good either. But most people, if they're just going about their day to day and just drinking their normal fluids, that wouldn't be a concern. But if you're doing challenges where like the gallon challenge, that could be a concern if you are like drinking too much too soon and in a short period.
And what do you win? Like that's the thing with those challenges. Some of them are fun. I mean, it's like, okay, I'm going to dump a bucket of ice over my head and take a video of it, and it's fun. It's but what do you get at the end when you drink a gallon? Like, do you get some kind of prize? Is there anyone out there who's going to go, right on, good for you, right? You're like totally bloated now. I don't know. Those things are just silly in my opinion.
I know. I guess part of it is they think they're going to lose weight, right? So another magic bullet is water. But yeah, I mean, our message here is more about it's the heat of the summer. It's important to increase your fluid intake. I think part of the challenge too is the water is much better fluid than pop or juice or sugary beverages, right? Because there's no calories in water. So that's, we want people to drink more water and more fluid because it's really important for your bodily systems.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One thing I was going to mention too about, unless this is a question. Okay. We're talking about water being more important in the summer, and you just think of the reasons. I mean, obviously it's hotter, so you're going to be thirsty more often, but the days are also longer. You're up, you're outside, you're doing more outdoor activities, more likely than you are in the winter. Like I said, the days are longer, so you're active longer during the day. So, I mean, just some of those things that come with the season. I mean, you need to adjust your drinking routines, not your drinking routines, but your water intake.
Absolutely. Yeah. I agree with that. And some people would just drink all at once, and that's not a good idea either. In terms of, as you said, it's longer days in the Northern Hemisphere and it's summer. So drinking throughout the day. But a lot of people stop drinking before bed because they might have to go pee in the middle of the night.
Right.
So that's still a good rule of thumb. Maybe not have a lot after dinner. Just try to have all your fluids, when you wake up and then through the day. But drinking through the day. And one strategy is to have cups like in your bathroom. So when you are going into the washroom for whatever reason, you have a cup of water because it just reminds you, I better drink water.
Yeah, and I keep one by the kitchen sink for that too, because I'm in and out of the kitchen a lot. Most people probably are. I mean, you get hungry, you want a snack, you want to eat lunch, whatever. You have your cup beside the sink, you can fill it and have it with your snack, and at least you're getting it at those times. And like Sandra said, like if you're working at a desk, maybe keep something with you at the desk or in the bathroom or somewhere where you're going to be regularly. And if you're drinking a lot of water, you're going to be in the bathroom regularly. So that's kind of even a good place to refill your glass, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. Whatever works. I keep a giant water bottle with me too. And that is another option if you're kind of more mobile, you're around inside, outside, in your car or whatever. That way you're going to have something with you. Because there's so many times you go, I'm just going to run to the store. You think you're going to be 20 minutes, but you get stuck in traffic or you run into someone and whatever. And before you know it, it's like 3 hours later and you're totally parched and you're probably hungry too.
Are those some of the signs of dehydration? You're answering the question. You're parched, dry mouth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Your urine output, you're not peeing.
What, right?
Okay. Yep. Exactly.
Well, and you'll be getting grumpy too.
Yes. And what about what happened to our son yesterday?
Oh, the headache.
Yeah, exactly. Lightheadedness.
Headache. And you're weak too. Like you're definitely like, you think of someone who's running in a marathon and they're not hydrated. They're going to be getting crampy. They're going to be getting weak, headaches, blurred vision probably. If they're like extreme exercise and you're dehydrated, I would think that would be an extreme symptom, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. We have cut flowers on the dining room table. And there's no water at the bottom of the vase. They're from a couple of weeks ago. And the flowers are just,
limp. and saggy and
losing their petals
and all, like shriveled and losing their color too. They're like faded looking.
Yeah. So all of these things. So that's why it's so important to keep your hydration up. Episode 32, we did all about skin health and collagen, and skin is part of it, is helping keep your skin supple, lubricated. The elastin in the skin works better if there's enough hydration there. We did, when you talked about you feel grumpy, did you say?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there's our episode Nutrition Nuggets 1 was all about food and mood. And I think we've done that in the past in other episodes too. But the fact that keeping hydrated just is good for our brain health too. So to help keep the balance of fluid throughout our body. And the other thing you didn't mention yet, but I think I said earlier, because I see this in many different aspects of my work and especially in long-term care, but constipation.
Yeah, that's a sign, right?
Absolutely.
Of dehydration.
Oh, yeah. It's a sign that it's someone's like chronically not getting enough fluid. So that is episode 116, all about constipation, what foods to help.
There's other reasons you can be constipated, but that's probably a pretty common one, right?
Oh, yeah. That's a big part. Yeah. And then what about the kidneys?
What about them?
Is that another organ system that might be affected?
I think everything's affected. Yeah.
So what happens?
You get kidney stones?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think you said that in the beginning.
Yeah. Episode 70, we had
Melanie Betts, dietitian, the kidney dietitian.
And we talked all about kidney stones. Yeah. So urinary health is really important. So also just if you want to prevent urinary tract infections, that's another thing. Fluid can help prevent that. So we did an episode on cranberries and fluids. So that was Nutrition Nuggets 53. And I think a lot of people know about, the cranberry pills or taking cranberries to help your urinary health and preventing those infections. But just keeping hydrated and enough fluid is such a key aspect of your kidney health and your urinary tract health, your bowel health. So just all of those functions and your organ systems, all important to get enough fluid.
Exactly. So I did okay?
You did, honey. I would say you got 99%.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Room for improvement.
I'm just joking. I actually think you got 100%. I just didn't want to, have your expectations too high.
You don't want my ego getting all, I'm perfect. Yeah.
That's right. No, you've been listening.
I had a music teacher in high school that would never give anyone 100% because he always said there's room for improvement.
Oh.
And it pissed me off because I played this thing perfectly. Like I practiced and practiced and practiced, and I didn't make one mistake. It was like musical, like everything that you want. And he gave me like 99. And I'm like, well, what did I do wrong? And he's like, well, you didn't do anything wrong. And I'm like, well, why didn't I get 100? He says, well, there's always room for improvement. And I'm like, okay, so what do I need to improve? Well, nothing in this. It was all good. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, just like make my day here,
But look at how hard you worked.
I know, but there was no reward.
You might not have worked so hard if
Well, I'm not going to work as hard in the future if I'm not going to get 100 on it. It was frustrating. I don't know that I agreed with his philosophy, but
that's hilarious.
Anyway.
All right. So that's the hydration quiz for Rob. He got 100%, and I hope everybody else would get 100%. Remember how important it is to drink enough fluid. Half your body weight in ounces is a good rule of thumb.
Mm-hmm.
And if you know that you're not drinking water, like you don't like water, just try to increase it by a cup a day. Just start from where you're at and just try to increase it gradually. And, definitely water's the best fluid. We didn't even mention food, but, I think we've talked about this before. It's super important. If you eat whole, minimally processed foods, there's a lot of hydration that comes from vegetables and fruits. So watermelon and celery and lettuce and peas and, so much of our food from Mother Nature rots, and that's a good thing. And if it's rotting, it's full of water. And we know that we'll get hydration from those really good foods.
Exactly.
And if you're eating a lot of your food from packages, so they're ultra processed or,
like pre-made kind of foods.
Yeah, they won't have as much water in them. So you actually have to drink more water to keep yourself hydrated, because a lot of those foods have more sodium, have more salts, and not enough water. So that's another thing just to consider, is just as you increase your vegetables and fruit consumption, you're increasing your natural water out of your food.
Exactly. We won't even get into the salt part and the caffeine that reduces your water intake, but we have done episodes on those. Maybe we'll touch on that again in the future. But yeah, just get to know the symptoms that you will feel when you're dehydrated, because that's really important. And if you're sort of aware of those, you can feel a headache coming on. You're maybe like, oh, maybe I should have some more water. Or, like we said, if your pee is really dark, that's a really good sign. So yeah, get to know those and stay hydrated.
That's awesome, Rob. You did such a good job there, and 100%.
Perfect. Right on. Well, thanks for joining us today, everyone. And hopefully you guys all learned something too. There's always room for improvement, right?
Yes, there is.
So check out our website. There's lots more information there. Check out I
just want to say one thing about the website. There is a little guide on the MIND diet and the foods to include. And you just click on that and you'll get our newsletter and you'll get that guide. So it's a good way to stay in touch with us, and that you'll get some nutrition tips of the week, plus some ideas for recipes. So that's always fun to communicate weekly with our listeners.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can send us an email too. It's mywifetherd@gmail.com. If you have questions, ideas for the show, that kind of thing. Love hearing feedback from our listeners. And our website address is mywifethedietitian.com. We're also on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can connect with us there as well, or you can just give us a like or follow or subscribe or whatever works on each of those. You can rate and review the show too after you finish listening. That would be super helpful. On whatever platform you're using, there's usually a way to give it there's a star system or a written review system. Both are much appreciated. And if you want to share with a friend, that would be appreciated too. Your friend would appreciate it, and so would we. So that is it for this week. We will be back next Monday. And like Sandra said, check out the website, sign up for the newsletter that comes out on the weekend or early in the week. And yeah, lots more information through that. So yeah, we will see everyone next week, next Monday. So in the meantime, have a great week and stay hydrated. Thanks for joining us today on My Wife the Dietitian. If you like what you heard, don't be shy. Leave us a comment or review, and be sure to share our podcast with your friends. If you'd like to hear more, hit that subscribe button. You can also follow us on our social media pages for updates, episode trailers, and other odds and ends. For more info and links on what we discussed on today's episode, check the show notes. We'll be back next week with another informative and fun-filled episode.